Hello and good afternoon, the Silver Lining gang. It's Andy Reid here. I'm your host of the Silver Lining Show, and I had a brilliant woman earlier on, and now I've got another young lady who, like she just said, she just keeps taking on more and more and more, and it's a testament to who she is and what she's about, and I've got so much respect for her. Charlotte, how are you?
I'm good. I'm jealous that the sun is shining so beautifully in the UK, while back in Australia we've got grey skies, but we'll move past that.
Well, look, it's. I think hell's about to freeze over, right? I think it's a rare thing. It's a rare thing seeing the sunshine, but having said that, they've had it for a little while as well. So maybe Corona does affect the weather in good ways. Who knows? Look, guys, the Silver Lining is a show that is designed to help people get past this Corona cloud, not through BS, rah. You can do it. Carry on. It's through practical stuff. It's through things that are a reality in people's lives that you can relate to, so that it does help you to move forward. If for nothing else, just for the understanding that you are not the only one. So, Charlotte, before we crack on and get stuck into nitty-gritties of how you're going about business life, home life, all that sort of stuff, tell the gang, human first, professional second, who you are as an individual, like family setup, where you're from, and what you do.
Okay, so I have two kids who are 1 and 4. My 4-year-old's going on 16, I think, mentally and emotionally, which is always a challenge. And we just picked up my stepdaughters who are 9 and 12, which is going to be an interesting weekend. I was joking with Andy earlier that I think coronavirus and a pressure cooker in a house, it'll be interesting to see if we still have 4 kids at the end of the weekend or whether or not my husband or I are arrested, but we'll see how that goes. And then we went and bought a dog. So I have a dog who's somewhat like a horse as well. So insanity in my household. Interestingly, I used to be really fit, and thanks to the coronavirus, I've actually got back into exercise and stuff. So on a personal level, I'm getting back out there every day, going for a run or doing a gym class online, all of these things. So it's so I'm connecting back with myself, I think. And I live up in the Yarra Valley in Melbourne, which is a beautiful part of the world. I do like wine, so it's great that I live on the doorstep of many wineries, which is quite convenient. And I am general manager at Stockdale Lego Corporate. It's a 50 office franchise network in predominantly Victoria, in the real estate world.
And breathe. And breathe. Look, Charlotte, I was really chuffed to get you to have you come on board because, for one, I just think you're a cool chick and I enjoy chatting
Thanks.
to you. But more so than that, obviously I have an understanding to a degree of the work that you were doing with Stockdale and Lego. We met in a previous life as well. Well, you guys, from a business point of view, were going through a number of changes already anyway, right? You were going through a whole bunch of changes that weren't easy. They were taking time, they were taking effort, and they were causing pressure and stress and all the rest of it. So I do want to go back to the home life in a second, but I want to go straight to this point because in a weird way, were you kind of already of the mindset before this all started? Like in a strange way, were you kind of already in that sort of pattern of thought where you were accustomed to changes happening, to personnel changes and all that sort of things happening like on a regular basis, things changing?
Yeah.
Did it kind of tee you up?
Yeah, it kind of so I've been in my role for about 18 months and I've had a diverse range of experience. And so when I joined, 18 months ago or so, the company itself has been around for many, many years. And there was a lot of people who were very ingrained in how they were doing things. And, I kind of applied the old, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. So I kind of came in and within a couple of weeks, I sat down with the owners of the business and just said, look, I think there's a lot of things that we could probably do better, which I sort of try to say in a friendly way. I slowly started to look at things and they say I was like an atomic bomb that kind of came in and just blew it all up and went, right, what processes do we need? What systems do we need? And I think there was a lot of hesitation when I first joined from the group about doing those types of things. So when you've been doing business, and with the utmost respect for so many of the people in our group, they've done it exceptionally well. These guys are, everyone in their community knows them. They're really great business people. They're really good people too. Great leaders, great bosses, great agents. And so for me, coming in and saying, hey, I've got a new idea, it's a comfort blanket. And I think I was the first person who really came in, and it wasn't a case of, I've got an idea. I was jumping up and down and screaming from the, swinging from the trees, yelling out, hey, there's some really cool stuff. So I think as a business, over the last 12 to 18 months, there has been a lot of change within the group. And my job, I've sort of, I guess, created a lot of it, is been to try and identify what needs to be improved and initiate the change. We've got a great marketing guy who's got that same mentality, and our CEO has the same mentality. What can we do better? So I think the business itself was already in the phase of, we need a change. And, I think franchising in general, I've been to PricewaterhouseCoopers breakfast about the future of franchising, sitting down in the room with the CEO of 7-Eleven, for example, is pretty amazing. And you sit there and you talk about franchising. So this isn't just about real estate. This is, we had McDonald's, we've had Grilled, we've had, 7-Eleven, all these amazing companies. And they're all saying that franchising needs to change because how we do business needs to change. And I think in our industry particularly, a lot of people were looking at, we've got digital now, so we need to move to digital. And I think globally, I'm going to make a pretty rash statement here, but I think a lot of people got so excited by digital, they focused on that, right? So don't worry about the human element. Let's focus on the digital. Let's 100%. Do this by digital. Let's get online. 100%. Let's do this. And all of these amazing platforms. And I think there's so many fantastic things out there. And right now I'm sure that there are, a million things that are about to just pop up even more so, like mushrooms. Hey, here's another way of doing it. And I think it's great. But I think there was a phase there for a while where we forgot that digital's there to support what people need in a business. And, in the real estate world, we had the company Purple Bricks that came to Australia, and it got squished out because whilst the digital supports, it can't replace. And that was a really great moment, no disrespect to Purple Bricks, but for us, because we went, cool, so maybe the human element is actually what's the driving force. So I think, our evolution over the last 18 months has really been about process and digitalization and modernizing and coming up with, better ways of doing things. But it's also gone back to the focus of, in real estate, if you're not on the phone, doesn't matter how many times you spam somebody, you are spam. You pick up the phone and you build a relationship, they'll actually read it. Like I've got how to buy a doona cover with Adairs, right? I don't need to buy new linen, but they're telling me how I can go and buy a sheet set with coronavirus there. It's spam. I'm not going to read it. So, one thing that we've really been focusing on, is what are you doing with your time? How are we going to use this? This is I said before, this is like our reset. We never get a reset moment where you can stop. You can literally down tools and go, okay, we are working twice as hard for half the money. We are trying to, to keep all these clogs going. We're trying to keep things moving along. But I think this is our moment when we can stop and go, what worked, what didn't work? What can adapt, what can't adapt? Because coronavirus or whatever it might be, a bad market, a bad situation, another GFC, whatever it is, if your business isn't able to cope with a change such as moving people to working from home and bad economies and all that kind of stuff, then you're going to have potentially issues. So now's your reset button. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter where you are. Now is the time where be smart about your time. We're all working from home. Don't put Netflix on in the morning. Get up in the morning, go for a run, get dressed, have a shower, make yourself presentable and work and really work because we're all going to come out of this. So what's it going to look like? I sort of said to you before, Andy, that I look at it and go, if Charlotte, if me in 12 months time looks back on me today and goes, God, why didn't I do that? Hindsight's a wonderful thing. But I think we already kind of know what hindsight's going to look like. So if you sit down, you don't do anything, you don't adapt, you don't pull off your comfort blanket, then it's all for nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Look, you said so many good things there.
Sorry, I just kind of went on a rant.
No, I love it. And a couple of, and I've had a few others where I've literally just gone, and that's the end of the show. No, amazing. No, I love it. And don't worry, we can talk about plenty more. The big thing there, and it ties in with what Dave and I were saying, Dave Stewart and I was saying, and we actually did an interview. I think it was about 2 years ago, maybe, that said this exact thing. So we're actually on record as being correct about this. Technology, it served to be a distraction for too many people, and people have lost sight of the fact that technology is only ever invented to make humans' lives easier. It's not meant to take it over. It's meant to make it easier. And that whole 80-20 rule of 80% of the stuff that we do is all the stuff that doesn't involve human beings. But what this is giving us an opportunity to do is to make that 20% of the human piece of what we do really, really sing, like in a big, big way. It's an interesting one. I want to get your take on this as well. I've been asking a few people. I asked Lana about this earlier on, and she has observed a little bit of it. She, as with every sort of service-based industry, price challenges and is that the best you can do and all that sort of stuff, very prominent, commonplace. You can't blame the consumers for asking that question. But do you find that with everything that's gone on, because of the slap in the face that society has had to cop, and as a result of that slap, all of a sudden everybody's sort of realizing, they don't know what they had till it's gone sort of scenario. Do you reckon that the value in that human piece, that service, the genuine service piece of a real estate transaction is actually, out the other end of this, it's actually going to be held in a higher regard by the consumer?
Absolutely. I think I think for you look at all the first things that came out with coronavirus, it was all the doom and gloom, and then it kind of moved to this, one day we're going to be able to go and have dinner. Like for me, and Andy, I know you're over there with your family. The idea of my sister's flown back from overseas, right? She's living in Indonesia and come back to Australia. The medical system over there, that's a whole nother session. She's living in isolation with her children. Now, my sister's in the country. I haven't seen her in months, and we can't sit down and have a big family get together, right? The kids, the cousins, they all want to play. We want to have, just the basic stuff that you absolutely take for granted. And that's with your family. And then you extend that to the next circle, which is your friends. And your friends, where it was, one of my dear friends' birthdays yesterday. And what would I normally do? We'll take her some flowers, hang out, we'd have some drinks, it'd be great. Can't do it. So she's sitting in isolation with her son going, this is awesome, and her husband, but can't do anything outside of the house. Then you expand that to your clients and to your work colleagues. We've got people working from home, and they've gone from taking for granted the person next door who every morning they go, oh, you're having a crap day, let's go get a coffee. Just those simple little 1%ers which help us keep going, as a human race. We're pack animals similar to dogs. Like we want to be with people. And we're missing out on those basic steps. So your clients are going to be exactly the same, right? It's going to be a different version of it. But the clients are ultimately, to imagine right now in the real estate world, imagine going, you know what, I'm going to come down and we're going to sit down and talk through this, and we're going to have some vendor meetings. We're going to hold a great open for inspection. And then we're going to have a public auction. We're going to have 50 people through your house. It's going to be great. You can brush up against them, give them a coffee. Imagine. And, this only changed 4 weeks ago, right? So in 4 weeks, we've lost so much of that human contact that I think people inherently we crave. We like to be around people. We all love our space, and don't get me wrong, I love peace and quiet, though it's rare with 4 children, but I do love it. But I think ultimately, you know, we spend our life and we hope that we find somebody that we can, you know, have a family with, and, you know, we've taken that away in every other part of our life. So I think the clients as well, in our industry, it is about the people. I don't care what platform you've got, what technology you've got, what social media presence you have. It's all irrelevant, because at the end of the day, if I'm going to give you something worth $1 million to sell for me, and you have the capacity to make or break my situation, particularly on the other side of COVID, when, you know, potentially you're selling because of, you know, we say there's the three Ds: debt, death, and divorce. Now, divorce, all due respect, put every unhappy couple in a pressure cooker. Might be a few of them.
It's probably going to end in a death.
Well, death is the other one. I was going to say, if it's not a divorce, it'll be a death, and then debt is the last one. And I've kind of donned it now that I'm renaming it Dorona. So we've now got 4 Ds in the real estate industry, the Dorona virus, because that's a 4th D. That's a 4th reason people are going to sell. So I think, you know, if you can sit down and actually communicate with your people and be there and have that human interaction, that's, as a humanitarian, you know, this is what we crave. So absolutely, I think clients will rejoice in being able to talk to somebody face to face and have a coffee.
And I think that's going to be an indelible mark that will only go away if the service providers forget about it. And that's the one thing that I will say is that I reckon in whichever industry we're in, you know, be it real estate, be it trades, whatever the case may be, that human or that appreciation for the human relationship, for the human connection, will only dissipate if the people that hold it, the people that have it in their hands to control and to work and to use, if they drift back to old habits and allow technology to make them you know, feel busy but end up being lazy, then it's only going to result in humans going back to the old behavior. But I think what it could end up resulting in is those people that allow that to happen will end up running out of money and running out of business pretty quickly.
Absolutely.
I reckon. I think that's going to be the case, and that's not. And I don't think that's optimistic sort of fluff either. I just genuinely think that this is going to leave a scar on society that they will not forget. I mean, we will remember this in history forever.
Absolutely.
You know, this isn't just
talk about things that happened 20. Sorry, I just had to get a phone charger.
That's right.
We're still talking about things that happened. You know, the Spanish flu. Call me crazy. That wasn't really overly documented. You know, we didn't have the internet, and look at how much information we still have on that now. We still refer to it as being, you know, a big thing for us now that we keep. Can you hear me still?
Yep.
Yep, beautiful. Sorry, I've just had to move to the speaker. Yeah, like we're still talking about the Spanish flu and what an impact that has had on the world, on the economy, on health, on all of those things. And we didn't have the internet. Like, the documentation of the Spanish flu is nothing nearly what it was.
100%. 100%. And I think, you know, off the back of that, off the back of everything that's gone on now, it's not fluff. The mistake that people will make is the fact that they will still be in that denial phase of the, you know, the 5 signs of grief, where they think they'll be getting affected now, but they will be in denial of the fact that this is absolutely going to change the game. That's all right. It's absolutely yeah. Are you there? Oh, here we go. See, right, guys. Little tip from Uncle Andy: if you're struggling, if you're going to do something like this, make sure your phone's charged.
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can.
I can't hear you.
Oh.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on.
That's all right. Hold on, no. Hold on. I'll take you away and then I'll add you back in. Give me 2 seconds. Um, oh, so guys, while Charlotte gets herself sorted, only Charlotte. No, look, what we were saying about that before is the fact that if you are in a service industry, the opportunity that is coming out of this is you have a real chance to maintain a value in what it is that you do. And that is so crucial right now. So crucial right now. How many of us in the service industry have just got sick and tired of people literally chasing the dollar when you feel that you go above and beyond in every single way, shape, or form you can, and then it just gets thrown back in the face? It won't happen that much anymore. People will actually understand what is going on. You're back.
I am. Sorry, I don't know what was going on then.
That's all right. No problem at all. No problem at all.
Country, I think.
Now, I want to talk about home life, being a mum.
Yes.
So, everybody's clearly seeing, Charlotte is an incredibly accomplished business person with a very sharp mind but in a rather sort of calm and measured kind of way. But you are also a mum of 2 plus 2. For some reason you've thrown a new dog into the mix, apparently. Yeah. How, take your professional hat off for a second, Charlotte. When the realization that you were going to have to do some homeschooling and stuff like that started kicking in, how'd you handle that initially?
To be honest with you, I didn't really think about it too much.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people are quite anxious about it. Homeschooling, I think it depends on the age, the attention, what's expected of the kids. My kids are my daughter's in kinder. So, she had to roll some Play-Doh and write her name with Play-Doh. So, we're not talking high tech. I'm not trying to remember what Pythagoras' theorem is or any of that sort of thing.
Can you remember it?
I think for me, I've worked really hard. I've had a job previously where I forgot about my work-life balance quite considerably, and it really affected me. And I've been very lucky where I am now in that I've maintained it. So I've tried to work from home on Fridays for the last 18 months. So I've become better adjusted at multitasking with children grabbing onto your leg and having a tantrum whilst trying to have a business call. But I think, to be honest with you, the opportunity to work from home and the expectation that I will be at home with my family is going to be short-lived. And I know on the other side of this, my job predominantly is out on the road, sitting down with the different offices. I'm known as a person who does more kilometres than anybody else because I drive across Victoria every day, and I love it. But I know that when this picks up again, I'm going to be jumping back in the car and going out and seeing all those people, and my time at home is going to reduce drastically. It's an adjustment. It's hard. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination, particularly with a 1-year-old who, when he sees his mum, he just wants mum. When he's tired, he wants, I did a Zoom call the other day. I had 50 of our property managers on there, and he was on the ground yelling out that he wanted a banana, and my husband was out for that. And he was out doing to work. So he just kept wanting bananas. So I gave him a banana, then he wanted another banana. And all I kept going, sorry, guys, hang on just a moment. I've just got to get another banana. Gave him a banana. Okay, keep going. And then I heard, another banana, Mama. Gave him another banana. And then my neighbours calling going, we've got your dog. And then he had a tantrum, and then my daughter. And, it was lovely because I think we're in an environment where people are very understanding. So I got a lot of emails from the guys in the group going, your son's really cute. Make sure you're fully stocked on bananas. So I think we all have to be nice to ourselves and be kind to ourselves, because I know that I'm not as much fun as kinder and daycare. And I know that, a 1 and a 4-year-old, they need to be at the park and running around and interacting with people. They've got all this energy to burn. And when I'm trying to work and there's a couple of videos in there, I don't like doing too much TV time. But right now, you know what, if that's what me
Look, hold on. I can't hear you again. You there? I cannot hear you again. Hold on. Let's. How's that? Are you better or no? We're struggling. That's a massive shame because that was an amazing point that you just made. That was an amazing point that you just made. Guys, what Charlotte just said there was so good. I think we need to make sure that we give ourselves the room to not be the ideal parent that we always wanted to be. Right now, it's a case of needs must. And it really is a case of making sure that we do everything that we can, but making sure that we understand that we've got too many balls going up in the air. Hey, you there? You back? Let's see if we're having a sound problem now, and this is really annoying because I really enjoy talking to Charlotte. And this is what, this is a case in point. You have got the right to forgive yourself if something goes wrong, like what it is just now. Give us 2 seconds, Charlotte. Add to stream. Let's see why this is not working. Charlotte, I'm presuming that you can hear me. Yes. Do you know sign language? Oh, wicked. This is not. All right, hang on, she says. Okay. So, guys, feel free to forgive yourself. You are allowed that space and time to not be perfect. And I think the fact that everybody is feeling that means that what Charlotte mentioned about the fact that people are being way more forgiving right now if you're not completely the consummate professional. It is so, so important to understand that that is the case. If you don't take that on board and you try and demand that absolute level of professionalism from yourself, you will end up in the loony bin. You will end up in a state of depression because it's just impossible. Where are we? Can I hear you? I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you. I don't know what's happened there. I'll tell you what we'll do. No, don't stress. What we'll do is, I think what I'd like to do, Charlotte, if that's okay, is let us pick this up on another day, because you were making some amazing points there about the fact that forgiving yourself is really, really important for not being the absolute professional. Giving yourself the space is really important as well. And understanding that other people are going to be very forgiving as well of you and your situation as you are of theirs. And I'd love to unpack that even further and look at how you're now, once you've become okay with that, how you are then utilizing your time. Like you said, you do a lot of Ks a lot of the time, and how you are going to make that look moving forward, whether you do less Ks and more of this, and how much of that human interaction, human connection you're going to want to do moving forward, and how best to maximize the best of both worlds. I really want to talk about that with you. So guys, we will reschedule this for another time. And look, it's another excuse it's another excuse to chat to Charlotte anyway. So I'm cool with that. But guys, we will pick this up a little bit later on once we've worked out these technicals, and you'll hear some more from Charlotte that is going to help you guys both personally and professionally to move forward. Okay, so for now, it's Andy signing off on behalf of me and Charlotte. Charlotte, we will rearrange this and we will continue our conversation in the next few days. All right. You take care of yourself. Stay safe, and make sure you stay sane as well with those 4 kids, right? Yeah, pretty much. All right, gang, you guys take care. Andy out, and we'll continue this conversation very, very soon.